Did consciousness birth the universe into reality, or did reality awaken consciousness to itself? I want you to imagine, just for a moment, that everything you have ever experienced, the people you love, the air you breathe, even the thoughts moving through your mind right now, all of it is not simply happening to you, but through you. Every sensation, every encounter, every memory, and every fleeting emotion is part of a larger conversation. Life itself is not a one-sided experience. It is a dialogue, an exchange between your consciousness and the universe. Every moment you live is a reflection of this interplay, and every action you take resonates far beyond what you can see or measure. For thousands of years, humanity has sought to understand its place in the world through two remarkable, yet often divided paths: religion and science. Science provides us with facts, equations, experiments, and observations that allow us to explain the mechanisms of the universe. Religion offers faith, meaning, guidance, and hope, giving us answers to questions that cannot be measured or quantified. And yet, despite the power of both, too often we treat them as if they are enemies. We are led to believe that accepting one requires abandoning the other, as if understanding the workings of the cosmos diminishes the sacred, or that embracing faith requires ignoring the truths revealed by science. But what if that is not true? What if science and faith are not at odds, but are instead partners in a much deeper understanding of reality? What if the laws of physics, the structure of atoms, and the unfolding of galaxies are not in conflict with the search for purpose, the longing for connection, and the experience of wonder? What if creation itself is both a scientific phenomenon and a spiritual event, understood through the tools of observation and the lens of the human heart at the same time? That is what I want us to explore today. Creation, not as a story of myth versus fact, not as a choice between the tangible and the intangible, but as something that can be profoundly scientific and profoundly spiritual at once. We can look at the formation of stars, the emergence of life, the evolution of consciousness, and see not only the mechanics but also the awe, the miracle, and the interconnectedness that touches every one of us. We can recognize that the universe is not a distant, impersonal machine, but a living process that we are a part of, that flows through us as much as we flow through it. Let us begin with what we know. Science tells us that approximately 13.8 billion years ago, the universe burst into existence in a moment we call the Big Bang. From a point smaller than an atom, a single unimaginably dense point of energy and matter, reality began to expand. From that expansion came galaxies, stars, planets, and the framework of everything we see and experience today. Time, space, and matter themselves were born in that instant. But here is the remarkable and mysterious part. Science cannot tell us what caused the Big Bang. It cannot explain why there is something rather than nothing, or why the laws of physics appear to be so precisely calibrated to allow life. The rate of expansion, the force of gravity, the balance between particles and energy, all had to be astonishingly exact. If gravity had been even slightly stronger, the universe would have collapsed back in on itself before stars could form. If it had been slightly weaker, matter would have never clumped together, and no galaxies, no suns, no planets would have come into being. Physicists refer to this as the fine-tuning problem. When we examine it closely, it seems almost too precise to be random. To many, it appears less like a cosmic accident and more like a subtle, almost hidden intention woven into the very fabric of reality. And then life emerged. Against staggering odds, chemistry gave rise to biology. Molecules began to interact in increasingly complex ways, forming the first living cells. Over billions of years, these cells evolved into the diverse forms of life we see today. And eventually, from this complex web of life, consciousness arose. Intelligence, self-awareness, and the capacity to reflect on existence itself emerged from stardust and simple molecules. Now consider this deeply. The universe has, through us, become aware of itself. We are not mere observers standing outside and looking in. We are the universe experiencing itself from within. Every thought, every feeling, every act of perception is the cosmos turning its gaze inward, exploring the wonder of its own creation. Through our awareness, the universe becomes conscious of the stars, the galaxies, and the vastness from which we came. We are both the product of the universe and the universe reflecting upon its own extraordinary journey. This is where temporal subjection theory, or TST, comes into play. TST begins with a simple yet profound idea: time and reality are not fixed. They are not universal constants experienced the same way by everyone. Instead, they are processed and understood through the mind. Modern physics already gives us a glimpse of this truth. Einstein showed us that time is relative, stretching or contracting depending on motion and the pull of gravity. Time is not an absolute backdrop against which events occur, but a flexible dimension that bends with the cosmos itself. Quantum physics takes us even further. At the subatomic level, particles do not occupy a single state until they are observed. They exist in a cloud of possibilities, a haze of probabilities, until consciousness interacts with them. Temporal subjection theory takes this insight deeper. It proposes that our conscious perception is what gives time and reality their meaning. Without a conscious observer, time is nothing more than movement and change. It has no narrative, no rhythm, no story. It becomes meaningful only when experienced. In other words, reality is inherently subjective. What we perceive as past, present, and future is not a universal timeline but a personal unfolding, a story written in the mind of consciousness as it engages with the universe. This does not mean that the universe is imaginary or unreal. Matter, energy, and the cosmos exist independently, but the way we encounter them, the way we feel their flow, their pulse, their unfolding, arises from the interaction of consciousness with the world around us. Our minds shape our experience of creation in every moment. From this perspective, creation is not something confined to a distant past. It is not a singular event that occurred once billions of years ago and then stopped. Creation is happening now. It unfolds with every breath, every thought, every perception. Every time you notice the warmth of the sun, the rustle of leaves, the movement of a bird across the sky, you are witnessing creation. Every moment of awareness is an act of the universe becoming itself, through you. Now let us connect these ideas with Consciousism. Consciousism is the understanding that consciousness itself may be the foundation of meaning, and perhaps even the foundation of reality. It is the recognition that awareness is not just a byproduct of the brain, but a core principle that shapes existence. Every religion in its own way has expressed this truth. The logos in Christianity, the Tao in Taoism, Brahman in Hindu philosophy, God in countless traditions, all point to the recognition that consciousness is central, that awareness is fundamental to creation. Modern science is beginning to circle around this idea as well. Quantum physics, holographic models of the universe, and the orchestra or theories of consciousness in the brain all suggest that the mind may not be reducible to neurons firing. Consciousness might be an active participant in reality, a force intertwined with the very fabric of existence. Humans need faith. This is not a weakness or a flaw. It is part of our wiring. Neuroscience shows that belief, whether in God, in love, in human potential, or even in abstract possibilities, has measurable effects on the brain. Faith literally changes how we perceive and interact with the world. It builds resilience, reduces stress, strengthens communities, and sparks creativity. Our capacity to hope, to trust, and to believe in something greater than ourselves has allowed humanity to survive and thrive. Yet here is the deeper truth. Science can explain how faith benefits us, but it does not fully explain why it works so powerfully. Consciousism provides a perspective. Faith, when aligned with consciousness itself, connects us to the deeper fabric of the universe. It allows us to participate in reality not as passive observers, but as active co-creators. When you practice faith, not a blind faith that rejects reason, but a faith informed by science, observation, and personal experience, you are not abandoning rational thought. Instead, you are acknowledging that meaning, love, connection, and purpose are as real as matter, energy, and gravity. Faith becomes a bridge, linking subjective experience with the objective universe, allowing us to navigate life with both understanding and wonder. Now let us explore interconnectedness. Physics has revealed a universe more connected than we could have imagined. The very atoms that make up your body were forged in the hearts of ancient stars billions of years ago. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your cells, all of it once belonged to stars that lived and died long before Earth existed. Quantum physics shows us even stranger connections. Quantum entanglement demonstrates that particles can remain linked across vast distances, such that the state of one instantly influences the state of another, as if separation itself is an illusion. The holographic principle suggests something even more profound, that every part of the universe contains information about the whole. Each fragment of reality, down to the tiniest particle, may encode the entirety of existence. In this sense, each of us carries the universe within us. Biology confirms these connections in ways we can see and touch. The oxygen you breathe was created by plants through photosynthesis millions of years ago. Your body is not merely a single organism, it is a complex ecosystem made up of trillions of cells, and within you, countless microorganisms work tirelessly to maintain your life. Each thought, each movement, each heartbeat is the result of countless interactions at scales both microscopic and cosmic. You are, quite literally, a microcosm of the universe. So when Consciousism declares that you are connected to all, it is not simply using poetic language. It is stating a scientific truth. The universe is not something outside of you. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are an active participant in a vast interconnected web of matter, energy, and consciousness. Recognizing this allows us to see creation not as a distant event in the past, but as an ongoing process in which every action, every thought, and every moment contributes to the unfolding of the universe itself. So, what does all of this mean for us? It means that faith is not outdated. It means that science is not cold or impersonal. It means that to be human is to stand at the intersection of fact and faith, logic and meaning. We are beings capable of understanding the universe in terms of particles and probabilities, equations and laws, and yet we are also capable of wonder, hope, and devotion. These are not contradictions, they are complementary truths, two sides of the same coin. Creation is not a finished story. It is not something that happened once and then stopped. Creation is happening now, and you are part of it. Every choice you make, every thought you nurture, every act of love you give, ripples outward through the tapestry of existence. The universe is not separate from you, it unfolds through you. Your consciousness is not merely observing reality, it is participating in the ongoing act of creation. This is the gift, to awaken not to a world of despair, division, or meaninglessness, but to a universe that is alive with purpose, beauty, and potential. A universe that has entrusted you, with the capacity to shape reality through your awareness, your intentions, and your actions. And so, as you go about your day today, I want you to carry this thought with you: you are not small. You are not powerless. You are the latest chapter in a 13.8 billion year story of creation. Science shows us how the stars, planets, and life came to be. Faith shows us why it matters, why your consciousness and your choices are significant. Together, they are calling you not merely to exist, but to awaken, to participate, and to bring meaning into the universe that made you.